Hey, it's Fat Stormtrooper from Dusk and Gaming. I'm going to do a review of my stately steel toe collection. Um, it's a Pyro Hat, which I find I actually using one of my loadouts at the moment. This one here is the Misty Skull effect. I've just acquired, and it's a cool effect. You can see the Misty Skull. I've also coupled it with this Dark Blaze and Mr. Quackers, but for the purpose of this video, we're going to get rid of the other effects. So Misty Skull is probably one of my highest tier effects in the Steely Toe. Amazingly, this hat, which has quite good effects, is not that expensive. I'll go to another one here, which is the smoking one. I mean, smoking's an okay effect if you can get a mist and couple it with something. You know, if you, for example, if you want to put something on it, like let's go to a sort of viewfinder somewhere, like Arcana or something. You know, it does actually add having the smoking there as well, but you know, but as an effect on its own, it can actually look good on day maps, not so much on night maps. Okay, so that there is a so-called smoking effect. Now, there is steaming, which is similar but grayer, and it actually looks more visible. And these sorts of ones actually look quite good, I find, if you can put them with something something hot. Let's go with that too. Not really. That's what I was not after that. But if you put them with something hot, like is that Visions of Scorched Earth, which is Hellfire? It seems to look quite good with that sort of stuff. Anyway, back to the Steely Toe. So that there is smoking. We've already seen steaming. This is searing plasma, which is a very non-specific effect, and probably, yeah, it's an effect that it actually sometimes looks better here from the back. So, but it is not a bad looking effect. It's a pity that it doesn't spread from the front as well, and you can see that what you can see from the back on the front. But obviously this is quite a high hat. With some of the lower hats it's more effective. I'm just pointing out to you that the steaming effect here, that has a gangrene footprint. It's a spelled hat, so, which is you know, it's not particularly common. Haunted Ghosts is a Haunted Ghost as an effect, I'm not particularly, you know, the most enamoured effect, but certainly for Halloween settings it actually does come in quite handy. It's a little bit infantile the way it looks, actually. The bat effect, that looks far better than the ghosts. Yeah, there's no comparison. And if you had some other unusual, yeah, it would maybe go along with that. The orbiting planets. Orbiting planets, yeah, they can look quite good, but the problem is they often don't have anything to back them up. Now, if you had something like a purple energy effect or something to highlight the contrast, they often do better. This is Eerie Orbiting Fire, and this one actually comes with a spell, Steam Footprint. But the problem with this is it's like Orbiting Fire, only it's purple, and it's a very weak colour. So even on most maps, and it can sometimes a bit hard to see, and it's a little bit of a waste as an unusual effect. It is probably, in my opinion, one of the lowest desirabilities for effects, but it's like having a present. You unwrap it, wow, that's a nice sounding name, and you open it up and it's a box of shit. It's not really an effect that I chase, mainly for the footprints. I've got that one in my collection. Orbiting planets, vivid plasma. This is with rotten orange. It's a spelled hat. Vivid plasma, as opposed to searing plasma, I think it gets a bigger spread and it looks better from all dimensions. So I actually prefer some of the colours in the searing plasma, but this actually is more visible and is a better effect as a result of it. Okay, Flaming Lantern. Really a Halloween effect. The Flaming Lantern is nice. I've seen a couple of people with multiple flaming lanterns on their loadouts, but I prefer the mallard, and certainly with this duck loadout, you definitely prefer the mallard if you could get it. But I mean, I don't think I've got it for that one. Green Energy, Flaming Lantern. Oh, this is Roboactive. It's a nice looking effect. It's a higher tier effect. Cloudy Moon. That's pretty cool. I mean, I prefer the Misty Skull, but I still like that effect. Green Energy, especially if you couple it with something else. But yeah, it looks good on its own. Time Warp. Time Warp's a good effect. It really outlines a head, it really outlines a duck. It's an effect that I don't mind at all. Sort of catapulted into notoriety by one popular YouTuber. Yeah. This is a collector's stately steely toe that I have in my collection. Interesting. I haven't seen many of them around. I'm sure they're not the rarest thing on earth, but yeah, they're okay. What else have we got in this steely toe collection? We've gone through this list already. Aces. Oh, that's something different. That's a completely different hat. Ignore that. I don't know why that even came up, but anyway. Let's do steel. S-T-E-L. Okay. Vivid Plasma. Circling peace sign. Not an effect that I particularly like or go for. It's a little bit annoying. Vivid Plasma. Oh, Ghastly Ghosts. This is a vastly better effect in terms of the detail of the pixelation than the other ghost effect we saw before. Vastly better. Misty Skull we've seen. You think they would actually leave it so you could default back to the search that you were on. Vivid Plasma, circling peace sign, over the page now. Bubbling is, you know, it's okay, but the Cauldron Bubbles effect is so much better. Yeah, enough said. Ghastly Ghost Jr. That's that effect we've already looked at. What am I doing? This here, oh, Ace is High. This sometimes gets glitched and you have the cards flying freaking everywhere around the screen. Again, it's an okay effect. It's really good if you can get it themed with something like the spy in particular. The notion of a gambler, and then he does a money taunt. So it's but it's not. I mean, I've got it as part of a collection, because that's what collections are. Obviously, you're trying to get things with a similar thing in the similar series. Green confetti, a fairly lower tier effect, and not the most impressive hat, but looks okay. It's not the worst hat on earth. Nuts and bolts. Again, nuts and bolts does suffer from the fact that it's not well done with outlining. Looking at there, it's a low tier shit effect, but if you go and put it with something that's going to enhance it, let's have a look through here, or that even just the Arcana, then yeah, it's a little bit sharper. Probably something more diffuse. That's Dead Presence, that's Smoking, Terawatt, even Terawatt. You can with that you can actually see the nuts and bolts, and it's sort of like a mechanization, you know, sort of theme with the electricity and the bolts. So it's so much better having that extra unusual misc to back it up. Nuts and bolts actually often look good with Tesla coil if you can couple the two effects. Smoking, even orbital fire, purple energy. And purple energy's always been a good effect. It looks better than green. Yeah, it just looks better than green, although you get some people who are really into the green effects who would beat me to death for that comment. Continuing on, that's Eerie Orbital Fire. That was the first one I got. The second one was spelled. I just have that one there from, you know, it was one of the first ones I got. This is a Cloud 9 effect. You know, the heart's coming out as opposed to the circling heart. It's if you're in a loving mood. You can wear that while you burn people to death. So obviously the circling heart is a converse, and sometimes the circling heart is a little bit clumsy. It looks like when you swing it around, it looks like it's playing tennis there. It's sort of it's fucking weird fucking thing. Whoa, 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 whoa! Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Yeah, it's an interesting effect anyway. I don't mind it. I vastly prefer this one, the so-called Blizzardy Storm. Yeah, that's great for winter maps, and you can couple it with other effects. If you put a green-black, I'll see if I've got the. Do I have a green-black hole? At least have a black hole one. Smoking, Dead Presidents, Terawatt. I'll just look for Viewfinder. Okay, Viewfinder, Nuts and Bolts, Dead Presence, Green Black Hole. I used to like those two together. It's a little bit like the Time Warp, but and you can actually put this at different levels. You can put it down around the body, and it looks fucking, yeah, it looks quite good. But you can put that up there, and you can play with this ones here. Adjust the unusual. Oh, what did I do? Anyway, enough of that. We'll persist on with the collection. So, the Circling Heart, Miami Nights. Now, I'll get rid of that one so you can see it. Miami Nights is an okay effect, but it's a little bit weak. It went through a vogue of popularity, but it's really well dropped off because there have been simply better unusuals around. Some of the newer Halloween effects just eat it. It's a little bit like a Sunbeams, only not as good as Sunbeams, so it really has struggled to find its form in terms of unusuals. Circling Heart, Death at Dusk. Death at Dusk is not a bad effect. It's got a cloud. I'm going to adjust it down, and you've got this sunrise sort of effect. It looks pretty good. It's sort of almost reminiscent of the clouds over a bushfire in the Australian bush, and that's why I actually relate to this hat fairly well and this effect, because you know, I mean, I've seen a fair few things where there's been a lot of fires, there's a haze of the fire and then the sun trying to break through, so I can relate to this this effect quite a lot. Okay, drawing on Miami Nights, Purple Energy and Antifreeze. Antifreeze is the green version. I mean, I think for this hat, Antifreeze is a pretty nice little hat, and you know, as I say, it's the one I'll probably just go into. I mean, I've been trying to get onto casual servers all freaking night, so I'll just I'll give it. I'll just try and find a community server to run around, and everything's so. Oh fuck it! Everything's so deserted tonight. It's like the zombies have come to Earth and killed everyone. But we'll just get some shitty training going. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, and just run around and have a look at the hat. Loading the world, initializing the world, loading the resources. Don't you just wish you could do that? Oh, let's just make another fucking planet. Load the resources. Not a problem. Initializing the resources. Dust bowl. Okay. Yeah. Halloween effects. Okay. Let's have a look in red.
Mission begins in 60 seconds.
Oh, good for you, girl. So let's have a look at this here. There you go. There it is. There. The steely effect. Maybe if we could have a look at it in the context of this taunt. There you go. There's a steely effect there. It's a pretty good effect there. Whoa, yeah.
Mission begins in 30 seconds.
So, yeah, if I saw that outside my door on Halloween, I'd probably shit myself. I like the way see how the boot moves back and forward with his head? It's just so insane. I'll just get out of that and see if I can change this. That's the antifreeze. Let's try the vivid plasma. Okay, get out of there. I don't want to do this more. So if I try it down. Okay, that's a vivid plasma. And you can see there, it doesn't have as much take or as effect as the others. Okay. Okay, so we're just going to go over here. I'll just do time warp. Yeah. So there's people dying out there and I'm not doing anything to help them. Oh my god, I'm a bastard. Okay. There you go. So they're pretty cool effects, and yeah, I'll better go out there and sort of shoot someone.
The control point has been contested.
Okay, peace out, guys.